The Lord is near to the broken-hearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. Have you ever wondered why the night feels so heavy? When the world grows quiet, the heart begins to speak, and sometimes what it says is pain. There are wounds you've carried for years, memories you've buried deep beneath your smile. But tonight, the healer is near. His presence moves softly through the silence, searching not to judge but to restore. You have not wandered too far. You are still within the reach of his mercy. Close your eyes, let the noise fade. The same God who formed galaxies has set his gaze upon you. He knows the story you never told, the battle behind your breath. Nothing is hidden from him, yet nothing you hide has changed his love. Like light entering a closed room, his grace finds the cracks and fills them. You are precious in my sight, he whispers, as in Isaiah 43:4. Feel those words resting over you like warm light on weary skin. Maybe you've tried to forget. Maybe forgiveness feels impossible. The world teaches us to hide what hurts, to cover the places that feel unworthy. But the heart that hides is the one that aches the most. Jesus came for that heart. He touched lepers without fear, spoke to sinners without shame, and lifted eyes that had forgotten how to hope. He has not changed. His hands still reach for the broken parts we try to conceal. Listen. In the quiet, there is no accusation here, only invitation. Come to me, he says, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. You don't need perfect words. You don't need to fix yourself first. He already sees beneath the surface, where guilt, fear, and longing have tangled together. He does not look away. He calls you by name and waits, patiently, until your heart dares to open. Tonight is not about achieving peace. It's about remembering who gives it. The peace that Jesus offers is not fragile. It does not depend on circumstances. It flows from his presence, like a river that never runs dry. You may not see the path ahead, but he walks beside you, steady and kind. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, said David, for you are with me. Psalm 23:4. Let that truth breathe inside you. You are not alone in this darkness. Every hidden wound is known. Every tear has been counted. And the God who knows you also loves you enough to heal what you hide. This is the beginning of a journey, not of striving but of surrender. Rest your thoughts and listen for his voice in the stillness. He is already here, whispering over your heart. You are mine, and you are safe. Chapter 1. The God who sees you. Some nights feel like deserts, silent, endless, and unseen. You may wonder if anyone notices the weight you carry, or if God has forgotten your name. Yet even in the wilderness of loneliness, his presence finds you. There is no corner too dark for his light to reach. You are not lost. You are being sought by the one who has always loved you. In the book of Genesis, Hagar fled into the wilderness, abandoned and afraid. But there by a spring of water the Lord met her. She called him El Roi, the God who sees me. Genesis 16:13. Those words still echo through time, whispering to every soul that feels unseen. God's gaze is not harsh. It is full of mercy. He does not look to expose, but to comfort. You may not realize it, but his eyes have followed every step, even the trembling ones. He saw the moments you hid your tears, the times you smiled to protect others from your pain. His compassion is not distant. He is near to the broken-hearted, as Psalm 34:18 reminds us. Every heartbeat is known to him, every sigh recorded in his care. Close your eyes and imagine that desert spring where Hagar wept. Feel the stillness around her, the wind carrying her sorrow into the sky. Then imagine the gentle voice of God calling your name, just as he called hers. You are not invisible here. His gaze is not heavy. It heals. It tells you, you are seen, you are loved, you are mine. When you rest in that truth, the fear of being forgotten begins to fade. The soul loosens its grip on self-defense and opens to receive grace. The eyes of God do not condemn, they redeem. His sight brings restoration, not shame. In being fully seen, you are fully known and still fully accepted. Let this be your meditation tonight. There is peace in being found. You do not need to strive for his attention or earn his affection. The Lord who saw Hagar in the wilderness also sees you now, in this quiet room, in this tender moment. His love surrounds you like light, even if your eyes are closed. Breathe slowly. Let the night remind you of his watchfulness. The stars that glitter above you are the same ones he set in the sky for Abraham, a promise of endless care. You are part of that promise. And as you drift toward rest, remember, being seen by God means being safe in his hands. He sees you still, even in your dreams. Chapter 2. Come unto me. There is a weariness that sleep alone cannot cure. It's the heaviness of striving, of carrying what was never meant for you to bear. You've tried to fix what's broken, to hold yourself together through sheer effort. But grace begins where striving ends. And tonight, Jesus whispers the same words he spoke long ago. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. Imagine those words falling like gentle rain on dry soil. Each syllable loosens the tightness in your chest, softens the thoughts that won't quiet. The invitation is not to achieve rest, but to receive it. You don't have to prove anything. You only need to come as you are. There were crowds around him that day, sick, weary, and desperate for peace. Yet his eyes met each one with tenderness. No one was turned away. He did not demand perfection before giving comfort. His rest was a gift, freely given, flowing from the mercy of his heart. That same mercy reaches you now. You may carry burdens no one sees, regrets that whisper when the lights go out, guilt that clings even after forgiveness. But he already bore that weight on the cross. Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering. Isaiah 53:4. The work of peace is finished. All that remains is for you to lay your burden down. Close your eyes and imagine yourself placing those burdens at his feet. One by one, they fall away. Fear, shame, exhaustion, self-doubt. In their place comes stillness, not from effort, but from surrender. The heart that rests in Jesus finds no demand, only embrace. He does not say, try harder. He says, come closer. His rest is not escape. It is union with his peace. As you breathe, let his presence settle into your soul. Feel his promise becoming real within you. You will find rest for your souls. Matthew 11:29. The world teaches that peace must be earned, but heaven teaches it is already offered. Grace waits like open arms, patient and unwavering. You don't have to run anymore. You only have to return. Rest is not far away. It is found in the heart of the one who calls you by name. Tonight, the invitation still stands. The same voice that spoke to weary hearts centuries ago speaks to yours now. Come unto him. Let go. Rest. Chapter 3. The burden lifted. Sometimes your heart feels like it's carrying 1,000 invisible stones. You move through the day with a quiet ache, trying not to let it show. But God never meant for you to live that way. He invites you to set the weight down. Cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you. Psalm 55:22. The night was made for letting go, not for holding on. Picture yourself standing beside a calm river. In your hands are the things that have been too heavy, worries, failures, unspoken fears. One by one, you lay them beside the water. The current takes them gently, carrying them toward the horizon where dawn waits. In their place, peace begins to rise like a quiet tide. David knew this feeling. When he could no longer carry his pain, he cried out, "Hear my prayer, O God, give ear to my plea." Psalm 55:1. And the Lord answered, not always with quick rescue, but with sustaining grace. That same grace holds you now, steady as the ground beneath your feet. There is freedom in confession, not as punishment, but as release. To name what burdens you is to let light touch it. The soul begins to breathe again when it stops hiding. You are not meant to carry your past alone. The cross was built to bear it all. Let this moment become an altar. Every thought that weighs you down can be laid upon it. God does not turn away from the mess. He transforms it. His mercy is not fragile. It can hold the heaviest heart and still whisper peace. As you breathe slowly, remember, Jesus carried a cross so you wouldn't have to carry your shame. He walked the hardest road to offer rest for your soul. Come to me, he still says, and I will give you rest. The invitation never expires. When you trust him with what you cannot handle, strength replaces striving. His hands are gentle enough to lift your burdens and strong enough to carry them forever. Let his presence lighten your load until all that remains is quiet gratitude. And as sleep draws near, imagine those stones by the river, gone now, lost to the flow of grace. The water sings softly over them, and you hear the truth in its rhythm. You are free. Chapter 4. Still Waters. There are days when your soul feels like a storm. Thoughts crash like waves and peace seems far away. But there is a voice that speaks above the noise saying, "Be still." Tonight that voice calls you to quiet. Psalm 23 says, "He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul." Rest begins when you let the shepherd guide you back to peace. Imagine green fields under a soft morning sky. The shepherd walks ahead, every step sure, every path chosen with care. You follow, weary but safe, drawn by his calm presence. The sound of running water reaches your ears, a melody of mercy. There by the stream, he asks you to rest a while. David wrote those words not in comfort, but in trust. He knew danger, betrayal, and fear. Yet he called the Lord his shepherd because he had learned the secret of peace, to let God lead. The same shepherd walks beside you now. His staff defends, his rod comforts, his eyes never leave you. As you breathe, think of the water's rhythm, a steady flow that cleanses what the day has left behind. The shepherd's presence does the same. It washes over your thoughts, taking restlessness with it. You are not expected to control the stream. You are simply asked to sit beside it. In quietness and confidence shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. Those words feel like the hush before dawn, gentle and alive. The shepherd's peace is not earned, it is given. His still waters never run dry, no matter how dry your spirit feels. Let every sound of the night remind you of his nearness. Even in silence, he speaks through stillness. The heart that listens finds that fear loses its voice and faith begins to sing. Peace is not the absence of trouble, but the assurance that God is here. Stay by those waters a little longer. Let your heart settle. Let the shepherd's care become real enough to feel. You do not have to know where he will lead tomorrow. Tonight, it is enough to rest where you are. And as sleep comes, imagine the whisper of the stream fading into your dreams. Its song is simple, yet eternal. You are restored, you are held, you are his. Chapter 5. The Healing Touch. There are wounds no one sees, the kind that linger beneath the surface, shaping how you breathe, how you trust, how you love. They are the quiet aches of the soul, hidden behind strength or silence. But Jesus knows them. He does not rush your healing, he reaches for it. In Mark 5:34, he said, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace." Those words still carry power tonight. Imagine the scene. A crowd pressing around him, voices rising, hands reaching. Yet in the noise, one touch changes everything. A woman, unseen and trembling, dares to believe. She doesn't speak. She simply reaches, and instantly healing flows, not only to her body, but to her heart. That same touch is reaching toward you now. Faith is not about strength. It's about surrender. Sometimes all it takes is the smallest reaching, one prayer whispered through tears, one breath that says, "Help me, Lord." He hears it. He honors it. Healing begins not in perfection, but in presence. The moment you turn toward him, he turns fully toward you. There may be scars that remind you of past pain, but even scars tell stories of survival. Jesus himself carried scars, yet they became symbols of victory, not defeat. By his wounds we are healed. Isaiah 53:5. Your brokenness does not disqualify you. It becomes the very place where his glory rests. Let your heart rest in that truth. You do not need to hide your hurt to be holy. Healing is not the erasing of your past, it's the redeeming of it. God does not patch you up, he restores you. The same hands that formed galaxies are gentle enough to hold your pain. Breathe in the thought that his love moves deeper than any memory, softer than any sorrow. There is no place his mercy cannot reach. Each moment you release what hurts, he replaces it with peace. Healing often whispers, it rarely shouts. Listen closely, it is already happening. As you prepare to sleep, let the words of Jesus echo through your heart. Go in peace. He does not say, try harder. He says, you are made whole. Let those words settle over you like a blanket of light, quiet and sure. The night will pass, but his healing remains. You are not defined by the pain that brought you here, but by the grace that found you here. Rest in that grace tonight. Chapter 6. The Quiet Heart. The mind rarely stops talking. Thoughts circle endlessly. What you said, what you didn't, what tomorrow might bring. But peace begins where worry ends. It begins in prayer. Do not be anxious about anything, Paul wrote, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Philippians 4:6. Tonight your heart is invited into that quiet. It's not silence that brings peace, it's surrender. You don't have to stop your thoughts, you only have to place them in his hands. Each one, like a small bird, trembling but safe, settles beneath his care. And then something beautiful happens. The noise inside starts to fade. Paul continued, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:7. That peace doesn't erase your circumstances, it redefines them. It tells your heart, you are not in control, but you are cared for. Close your eyes and imagine a still lake at dawn. The air is cool, the light gentle, the surface smooth as glass. That's what the Spirit does to your soul when you pray. He calms the ripples, quiets the storms, and reflects heaven within you. The world may tell you that peace is fragile, easily broken, but God's peace is unshakable. It is not the absence of sound, but the presence of trust. You can rest not because everything is solved, but because he is sovereign. He holds what you cannot hold. Take a deep breath and whisper your worries to him now. Don't rush. Let the rhythm of your breathing match the rhythm of his grace, steady, kind, unending. Prayer is not a task, It's a refuge. Each sigh becomes a doorway into his presence. As the night deepens, feel the Holy Spirit surrounding you like soft light. There is no need to fix or prove anything. Just be still, just belong. The God who listens also lingers, keeping watch as you sleep. Let peace do its sacred work. Let stillness become your prayer. And as your thoughts grow quiet, remember, the heart that rests in him is never empty. It is guarded by love. Chapter 7. The God who forgives. There is a moment when the heart finally stops running, when guilt has said all it can say, and silence takes its place. In that silence, God speaks, not with accusation, but with mercy. David knew that voice. After his deepest failure, he prayed, "Have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love." Psalm 51:1. That same love whispers to you tonight. Forgiveness is not earned, it is received. It does not come at the end of your perfection, but at the start of your repentance. When David confessed, he did not find rejection, he found restoration. The God who forgave a king's betrayal can forgive anything you carry. His mercy does not have limits. His grace has no expiration. You may still feel the echoes of old mistakes, but those memories are not your identity. The cross already answered every accusation. As far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. Psalm 103:12. The distance between your sin and his love is infinite. Close your eyes and picture a clean river running through your heart. Every confession, every tear becomes part of that flow. The water does not judge, it cleanses. The stains that once seemed permanent begin to fade beneath its current. This is what grace feels like, freedom disguised as peace. There is no sin too dark for the light of Christ to reach. Even Peter, who denied him 3 times, was met with compassion, not condemnation. Jesus restored him with love, just as he restores you now. He does not replay your failures, he rewrites your story. Forgiveness is not forgetting, it is transforming. What once brought shame now becomes testimony. God turns your weakest moments into reminders of his power. The one who wept becomes the one who worships. The one who fell becomes the one who stands in grace. Breathe deeply and let go of what you've been holding. Guilt is not your portion. Mercy is. The same God who washed David clean is washing you now. You are not who you were. You are who he is making you to be. As the night settles, feel the peace of absolution. The weight lifts, the storm quiets, and the words echo softly. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Psalm 51:10. He has. Rest now in that truth. You are forgiven and you are free. Chapter 8. The light in the darkness. When the night grows long, it can feel like the darkness will never end. Yet even there, light is present. It doesn't always shout or blind. It often arrives as a quiet glow, a whisper of hope. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. That light is Christ, and he is near. You may not see it yet, but his light is already working in the unseen places. Every prayer you've whispered in fear is heard. Every tear that has fallen has been counted. In the unseen hours, God is building the dawn. His plans are still unfolding, even in your shadowed moments. The darkness tries to convince you that you are alone, but that is the first lie it tells. God never leaves his children. Even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, Psalm 139:12. He is present in every breath, every heartbeat, every quiet cry. Think of a candle in a vast room. The flame seems small, but its light stretches far beyond itself. That's what faith is, a flame in the soul that refuses to die. As long as you hold it close, the darkness cannot win. The smallest belief in God's goodness becomes an unbreakable shield. There is power in remembering the light. Every miracle in Scripture began with a moment of shadow. The tomb before resurrection, the storm before calm, the silence before the voice. The same pattern lives in your story. What feels like an ending is often preparation for renewal. Let the promise of John 8:12 rest upon you tonight. I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Those words are not ancient. They are alive. They reach across time and speak to you now. Close your eyes and imagine his light filling the room. It touches every corner, soft and warm. The shadows retreat, not because of your strength, but because of his presence. You are not walking toward the light. You are being held within it. As sleep approaches, let go of every fear that hides in the dark. The same God who created the stars watches over you beneath them. Rest in the certainty that no darkness can silence his light. It shines in you still, and it will lead you home. Chapter 9. The Shepherd Who Knows Your Name. There is something sacred about being known. In a world where so many faces pass unnoticed, God calls yours by name. I am the Good Shepherd, Jesus said. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. John 10:14. You are not just one among many. You are seen, remembered, and loved with purpose. The shepherd does not lose track of his flock. When one wanders, he goes after it. When one falls, he lifts it. His voice is not harsh. It is steady, gentle, and true. You may have wandered through places of fear or doubt, but his call never stopped. It has followed you all along, even here. Imagine standing on a quiet hillside under the night sky. The air is cool, and the shepherd's voice echoes softly through the wind. It is not demanding. It is familiar. You recognize it because it speaks to the deepest part of who you are, the part that was made to belong. There are moments when you feel lost, as if the path has disappeared, but even then he is closer than your breath. Psalm 103 reminds us, "Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture." That truth steadies the trembling heart. The shepherd doesn't measure your worth by your perfection, but by his love. When you stumble, he does not leave you behind. When you are weak, he carries you on his shoulders. Rest comes when you stop running and simply let him hold you. Breathe slowly. Listen for his voice beneath the noise of the world. It always sounds like peace. It always leads you home. The shepherd's way is not hurried. It is holy. You can walk it without fear, knowing that each step is guarded by his care. Even in the valley, his presence remains. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Psalm 23:4. That comfort is not just for the day. It follows you into the night. He never sleeps, and he never forgets. As you drift toward rest, picture yourself safe in his pasture. The stars above are his lanterns, the night air his lullaby. You are not lost. You are found, known, and loved. The shepherd is near, and he calls you his own. Chapter 10. The Gift of Grace. Grace is the sound of chains falling quietly in the dark. It is undeserved, unexpected, and entirely free. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. Ephesians 2:8. Nothing you can do will earn it. Nothing you have done can erase it. Grace is love that keeps choosing you. The world often teaches that you must perform to be accepted, but heaven whispers a different truth. You already belong. Grace does not arrive when you've cleaned yourself up. It meets you in the mess. It is patient, tender, and endlessly kind. It takes what's broken and calls it beautiful again. Imagine standing beneath a waterfall of light. Every drop that touches you carries forgiveness. It washes away the heaviness of striving. the ache of not being enough. That is grace, God doing for you what you could never do for yourself. Paul knew this well. He had been a persecutor, yet became a preacher. His story was proof that grace is not fragile. It is fierce. It transforms enemies into instruments of peace. What God did for Paul, he is still doing now, writing redemption into every surrendered heart. Sometimes grace feels too good to accept. The mind protests, "I don't deserve this." But grace answers, "You never had to." Romans 5:8 reminds us, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Love came first, repentance followed. That is the rhythm of mercy. Let your heart rest in that rhythm tonight. Every breath is a reminder that you are living in grace, wrapped in it, renewed by it. You do not need to strive for approval when love has already been given. The cross was enough. It always will be. Close your eyes and let gratitude replace guilt. Picture the face of Jesus, gentle, radiant, uncondemning. His eyes tell you everything. You are forgiven, you are chosen, you are free. That is what grace looks like. And as sleep comes softly, remember this truth. Grace is not a moment, it's a home. You can live in it, rest in it, and wake in it again tomorrow. The gift has been given, and it will never be taken away. Chapter 11. A Heart of Flesh. There are seasons when the heart grows hard, not from rebellion but from pain. Life teaches you to protect yourself, to build walls where wounds once were. Yet God desires something softer, something living. "I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you," he said. "I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh." Ezekiel 36:26. That promise still breathes life into weary souls. Sometimes healing feels like breaking. The walls we built for safety begin to crumble and it feels like loss. But God is not destroying you. He is rebuilding you. The cracks that appear are not failure. They are openings for His Spirit to enter. Love can only flow through what is open. Imagine your heart as clay in the potter's hands. It may have been dry, cracked, forgotten, yet His touch is patient. He reshapes without crushing, smooths without scolding. Every rotation on His wheel is a movement of mercy, transforming what was hardened into something holy. The heart of flesh is a heart that feels again. It grieves, but it also rejoices. It is moved by compassion, drawn toward light. That sensitivity is not weakness, it is divine design. It mirrors the heart of Christ, who wept with those who wept and rejoiced in the Father's will. You may fear being too vulnerable, but remember, God does not ask you to expose your heart to the world, only to Him. In His presence, softness is strength. He does not wound what He heals. He restores it with care. His gentleness makes you strong. Let His Spirit move where you once resisted. Where bitterness took root, let forgiveness grow. Where numbness lived, let hope awaken. "I will put my Spirit within you," God said, "and cause you to walk in my ways." Ezekiel 36:27. That is the beginning of transformation. Close your eyes and feel that new rhythm inside your chest. It is not the rhythm of fear, but of grace. Every beat declares that your story is still being written, your soul still being renewed. You are not too far gone for tenderness to return. As you rest tonight, imagine that new heart pulsing softly beneath His light, no longer made of stone, but of living warmth. You are being remade, not into someone different, but into who you were always meant to be. Chapter 12. Peace, be still. The storms of life come without warning. They rise suddenly, turning calm seas into chaos. Fear rushes in, whispering that God has forgotten. But even the winds obey His word. Then He arose and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And there was a great calm. Mark 4:39. That same voice still speaks today. You may not hear it audibly, but it moves through the quiet, gentle, steady, certain. The same Jesus who calmed the waters of Galilee can calm the waves in your mind. He is not far from the storm. He is in the boat with you. His presence does not prevent the storm. It transforms it. Picture the scene. The disciples panicking, the waves crashing, the wind howling. Yet Jesus slept through it all. He knew the authority of his Father outweighed the chaos around him. That peace is not reserved for him alone. It's offered to you. Fear often tells you that faith means control, but faith is the opposite. It's surrender. It's trusting that even when you can't still the waters, the one who can is already near. Do not be afraid, he says again and again, for I am with you. Isaiah 41:10. Let his words echo in your heart tonight. Peace, be still. They are not commands to the world outside you, but to the world within. The waves of anxiety, the winds of uncertainty, they all quiet in his name. The storm has no final say. As you breathe, imagine the sea growing calm. The air cools, the night clears, and stars appear where clouds once were. That is what his peace does. It reveals light you couldn't see before. You don't have to force it. Just receive it. Let peace wash over you like soft rain after a long drought. Let it fill every corner of your being until even your heartbeat slows to his rhythm. And as you close your eyes, hear him whisper once more, steady, sure, and full of love. Why are you afraid? I am here. The wind obeys, the sea rests, and so does your soul. Chapter 13. The Vine and the Branches. There is a deep relief that comes when you stop trying to live on your own strength. When you realize that peace doesn't come from control, but from connection. Jesus said, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me, and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. John 15:5. Rest begins when you believe those words. We often think rest means stepping away from everything, but spiritual rest means drawing closer to the source, not the silence. The branch does not strive to produce fruit. It simply abides. The life flows naturally because it stays connected. The same is true for you. Imagine yourself as that branch, gently attached to the vine. The sap that moves through it is his spirit, bringing nourishment where you once felt dry. You don't have to create peace. It is flowing toward you right now. All you must do is stay connected. When Jesus spoke these words, he was preparing his followers for sorrow. Yet he promised that his joy would remain in them. John 15:11. That promise is not dependent on circumstance. It's rooted in relationship. Joy is not found by chasing, it's found by abiding. There are seasons when pruning comes, when God cuts back what no longer serves life. It hurts, but it heals. The gardener never removes anything without a purpose. Every loss, every surrender makes room for deeper growth. Breathe slowly. Let your spirit settle into his presence. You are not expected to bear fruit in exhaustion, only in communion. The world measures worth by results. God measures it by closeness. His goal is not your performance, but your peace. Even when you feel cut off, you're not. The vine still holds you, still feeds you, still believes in what you will become. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, he said, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. John 15:7. This is the promise of abiding grace. As night falls, imagine yourself resting against that living vine, strong and warm with life. The flow of his spirit is unbroken, constant, eternal. You are not striving anymore. You are sustained. Chapter 14. The God who provides. Sometimes fear whispers that there won't be enough time, enough strength, enough grace. But the voice of God answers softly, "My God will supply all your needs according to his riches in glory in Christ Jesus." Philippians 4:19. His provision has never failed, even when your sight faltered. Think of the Israelites in the wilderness. Each morning, manna appeared like dew on the ground, just enough for the day. Not too much, not too little. God was teaching them trust, not strategy. Dependence was the lesson, and faith was the gift. You too are invited into that rhythm. Provision rarely comes all at once. It comes in daily mercies. The heart that learns to trust in small doses of grace will never go hungry. You may not see tomorrow's bread, but today's is already in your hands. Sometimes we confuse abundance with excess, but God's abundance is peace. It's the quiet knowing that you have what matters most, his presence. When the soul rests in that truth, even scarcity loses its sting. You are never truly lacking when you walk with the provider. Jesus reminded his followers of this when he said, "Do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink. Your heavenly Father knows that you need them." Matthew 6:25-32. Worry blinds the eyes to miracles already unfolding. Faith opens them wide. Close your eyes and breathe in gratitude for what has already been given. The roof above you, the air around you, the love that sustains you, these are not small things. They are evidence that heaven has not forgotten you. When you rest in his provision, fear begins to dissolve. You stop asking, "Will I have enough?" and begin to whisper, "God is enough." That shift is the birth of peace. It is where contentment begins to grow. As sleep approaches, let your mind rest in his promise. The provider does not slumber. Tomorrow's manna is already forming. The one who feeds the sparrows and clothes the lilies has already prepared your portion. You are cared for, and you are safe. Chapter 15. Be still and know. There are times when the soul longs for answers, but receives silence instead. It is in that silence that God often whispers the most. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Those words are not commands to stop living. They are invitations to trust, to rest in what cannot be shaken. The world moves quickly, demanding proof and progress, but the Spirit moves slowly, asking only for presence. Stillness does not mean doing nothing. It means resting in awareness. It means remembering that God is still in control, even when you cannot see his hand. Picture yourself standing beside a still lake. The water reflects the sky perfectly because it has stopped moving. That is what stillness does to the soul. It becomes a mirror of heaven. In quietness, his image returns to focus. When you pause, the noise of worry begins to lose power. You start to hear something softer, the pulse of divine love beneath your fear. In returning and rest, you shall be saved. In quietness and confidence shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. These are the deep rhythms of peace. It's not easy to be still in a world that rewards noise, but God's peace is not found in the crowd. It's found in communion. Stillness is where he meets you, not in striving, but in surrender. When you stop reaching outward, you finally feel his presence within. Let your breath slow. Let the worries of tomorrow settle like dust. The creator of the universe is not distant. He is near. His voice is not thunder. It is a whisper carried on the wind. You do not have to chase him. He is already here. Stillness is not weakness. It is worship. It's an act of faith that says, I don't need to understand everything to trust you. When the heart grows quiet, heaven draws close. The world fades, and eternity becomes clear again. As you rest tonight, let the stillness surround you. Let it hold you like gentle arms. You don't need to fix anything. You only need to know that He is God. And in that knowing, peace unfolds like dawn. Chapter 16. The Potter's Hands. There are moments in life when everything feels undone, as if you're being pressed, stretched, or reshaped by unseen hands. Yet this is not destruction, it is creation. Like clay in the hand of the potter, so are you in my hand, declares the Lord. Jeremiah 18:6. You are not breaking, you are being formed. The potter's work is gentle, yet intentional. He does not rush the shaping. Every turn of the wheel, every press of his fingers has purpose. The pressure you feel is not punishment, it's precision. The hands that mold you know exactly what you're becoming. Imagine the clay, soft beneath the potter's palms. It doesn't resist, it yields. It trusts the craftsman even when the motion feels endless. That is what surrender looks like. Faith that the process leads to beauty, even when you cannot yet see it. There are times when the vessel collapses and it feels like failure. But the potter does not throw the clay away. He begins again, not with anger, but with love. He was making something beautiful again from the same clay. Jeremiah 18:4. Grace never wastes what it can redeem. You may not recognize the pattern being shaped, but the potter does. He envisions the finished work, while you can only see the dust. The process of faith is not about understanding. It's about remaining pliable, trusting His touch, even when the spinning won't stop. Breathe deeply and remember, His hands are steady. He knows exactly how much pressure your soul can bear, and He never applies more than love requires. Every turn of your life is shaping you for purpose. When the shaping feels painful, imagine those hands covered in light, tender but strong. You are being prepared to hold living water, to carry grace where it is needed most. The potter does not make mistakes. He makes vessels of glory. As you fall asleep, let go of resistance. Let His hands finish their work tonight. You are not forgotten clay. You are a masterpiece in progress. The shaping may be slow, but His love is eternal. Chapter 17. The Table of Mercy. There is a place where shame ends and celebration begins, a table spread not for the perfect, but for the forgiven. In Luke 15, the prodigal son returns home, broken and afraid. Yet before he can speak, the father runs to him, embraces him, and calls for a feast. Mercy doesn't wait for explanations. It welcomes. Picture that moment. The son expecting rejection, the father offering restoration. Bring the best robe, the father says, and put a ring on his finger. Luke 15:22. That ring was not just jewelry. It was belonging restored, identity reclaimed. The same mercy that found him finds you tonight. You may have wandered far, carrying regrets like heavy stones, but God's table is still set. The light still warm, the invitation still open. Grace does not run out. It multiplies. The seat reserved for you has never been taken away. There is no need to clean yourself before coming home. The Father's love does the cleansing. The robe of forgiveness fits perfectly over every stain. He doesn't ask you to explain the past. He simply says, "You were lost, but now you are found." Luke 15:24. Mercy is not a second chance. It's a new beginning. It takes what was broken and turns it into beauty. The same love that received the prodigal receives you. You are not tolerated at the table. You are celebrated. Close your eyes and imagine sitting there. Music playing softly, candles glowing, joy filling the air. The Father smiles, not because you performed well, but because you came home. Love has no conditions when it is divine. The table of mercy is wide enough for every story, strong enough for every sorrow. It is where grace feeds the hungry and joy heals the weary. You don't need to earn your place. You only need to accept the invitation. As you drift toward sleep, let that image stay with you. The feast is still going on, and your chair remains. You are home, forgiven, and free. The Father's arms are open, and the table of mercy is set for you. Chapter 18, Streams in the Desert. There are seasons when the soul feels dry, when prayer echoes like wind through empty valleys. Yet even there, God is present. See, I am doing a new thing, he says in Isaiah 43:19. I will make a way in the wilderness and streams in the desert. The promise is not that deserts disappear, but that grace flows through them. You may not see water yet, but beneath the surface, life is stirring. The same God who brought water from the rock still brings refreshment from unlikely places. When faith feels faint, remember that even deserts bloom under the right light. Imagine standing in the heat of silence, then feeling the first cool drop on your skin. It's the sound of answered prayer, soft and slow, but real. God doesn't rush his rain. He releases it in perfect time. The desert teaches what abundance never can: dependence. When there's nothing left to rely on, you discover the source that never fails. Like manna from heaven, his provision arrives in daily grace. Enough for each sunrise, enough for each night. Isaiah's promise continues. I give water in the wilderness to give drink to my chosen people. Isaiah 43:20. You are not forgotten in the barren place. You are chosen there. The dryness is not punishment. It is preparation for renewal. Let the Spirit pour into the cracks of your heart. Let it reach the places long untouched by hope. Every tear that has fallen in the desert becomes seed for something beautiful. Even pain, when surrendered, becomes holy ground. You do not have to find the stream. It will find you. It always does. The God who begins a good work finishes it, and the well he digs never runs dry. As you fall asleep, imagine that desert turning green. Streams begin to shimmer under moonlight, and flowers open to drink. What was once desolate now sings with life. That is what his presence does. It brings beauty to the barren. Chapter 19. The Secret Place. There is a quiet refuge waiting for you, hidden beneath the noise of the world. It is not found in distance, but in closeness. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Psalm 91:1. This is not a promise for perfect people. It is a shelter for the trusting heart. The secret place is not built of walls or stone. It exists in the stillness between your breath, where God's presence meets your soul. It is where worry loses its voice and peace begins to sing. You can enter it at any moment, for the door is always open. Imagine yourself stepping into that hidden place. The air feels different, soft, alive, safe. Every fear that followed you begins to fade at the threshold. Here, under his wings, no accusation can reach you. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. Psalm 91:4. The world outside may still tremble, but this place does not move. It is anchored in the unchanging heart of God. In the secret place, you do not need to speak much. Sometimes silence is enough. The Spirit understands every word your heart cannot say. Rest here for a while. Let his shadow cover you like a warm night sky. The same God who guards the heavens watches over you. His promises are not distant. They breathe beside you, steady and near. Every battle you've fought, every burden you've carried, begins to lighten here. For in his presence, strength returns quietly. Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Isaiah 40:31. Waiting is not weakness, it's worship. You are not forgotten in the hidden places of your life. That is where God often does his best work. In secret, he mends what was torn, restores what was lost, and prepares you for peace. As you close your eyes tonight, imagine resting beneath his shadow. The world fades, the noise softens, and only his presence remains. You are safe in the secret place, and you are home. Chapter 20. Bread of Life. There is a hunger that no meal can fill, an emptiness that success cannot satisfy. It is the longing for the one who made you. Jesus said, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never thirst." John 6:35. These words feed the soul even when everything else fails. You have tasted the world's promises, sweet for a moment, empty soon after. But the bread of heaven never spoils. It nourishes not only the body, but the heart. Every word of Christ is food for your spirit, sustaining you through wilderness and storm alike. Think of the crowds who followed him into the hills, hungry and weary. They had little to offer, only a few loaves and fish. Yet when Jesus blessed it, it became enough for everyone. That miracle was never about bread, it was about trust. God still multiplies what you bring, even when it feels too small. When you offer your emptiness, he fills it. When you surrender your lack, he turns it into abundance. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. Matthew 4:4. There is peace in being fed by grace instead of effort. You do not have to strive for what has already been given. The bread of life is not earned, it is offered. All you must do is come to the table and receive. As you breathe, imagine that spiritual hunger being satisfied. The ache that once pressed against your heart begins to quiet. What once felt hollow now feels whole. The sweetness of his presence lingers like warmth after sunrise. Even when life feels barren, his word remains enough. It fills the soul that listens and strengthens the weary heart. Every verse is a meal, every promise a feast. Tonight, let your spirit eat and be satisfied. The bread of life is here, fresh, eternal, and freely given. You will wake renewed, for his nourishment does not fade with the night. Chapter 21. The God who listens. There are nights when your prayers feel like whispers lost in the wind. You speak, but the silence answers, and your heart wonders if heaven has heard. Yet Scripture promises, the righteous cry out and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. Psalm 34:17. Every word you speak in faith reaches his heart. God's listening is not passive, it is personal. He bends low to hear you, not because your voice is loud, but because your soul matters. He understands the prayer hidden in your sighs and the meaning behind your tears. His ears never close to those who call his name. Think of Hannah, weeping silently in the temple, her lips moving without sound. The priest thought she was drunk, but God knew her sorrow. 1 Samuel 1:13. He turned her ache into a miracle, her longing into life. The same God who heard her hears you now. Sometimes the answer comes slowly, and you mistake delay for distance. But silence does not mean absence. While you wait, he is already working. The God who listens is also the God who acts, weaving redemption in ways you cannot yet see. Let prayer tonight be less about words and more about presence. Sit quietly as if talking to an old friend. Tell him what hurts, what you hope for, what you cannot fix. He will not interrupt. He will not turn away. There is peace in knowing your voice matters to the Creator. The one who commands galaxies also listens for your whisper. Before they call, I will answer. While they are still speaking, I will hear. Isaiah 65:24. That is how close his love is. As you rest, imagine your prayers rising like soft light through the dark. Nothing is lost, nothing is ignored. Every word is cradled in divine hands, every sigh carried into eternity. And when you finally sleep, let this truth settle deep in your spirit. The God who listens is still listening. Even now, even here, his ear is turned toward you in love. Chapter 22. The oil of joy. Sorrow has its seasons. There are days when grief feels endless, when joy seems like a language you've forgotten how to speak. Yet God promises beauty where ashes once lay. He has given them a crown of beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning. Isaiah 61:3. This is not poetic comfort, it is transformation. Joy does not erase pain, it redeems it. It blooms in the soil of suffering, watered by tears. The oil of joy is not shallow happiness. It is deep, lasting gladness that flows from his presence. You do not create it, you receive it. Think of Mary at the tomb. Her heart was shattered, her hope buried. But then she heard her name spoken by the risen Christ. John 20:16. In that moment, grief turned to worship. The oil of joy poured over her spirit, and despair lost its hold. God's joy is not the denial of sorrow, it's the proof that sorrow cannot win. Even the darkest valleys can't smother his light. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 35. The promise is not if, it's when. Let joy tonight be your quiet prayer, not the loud laughter of the world, but the peaceful smile that says, I know God is still good. Joy is not found by escaping pain, but by discovering his presence in it. As you breathe, let that oil flow over your heart, warm, fragrant, steady. It soothes the raw places that life has scraped. Slowly your mourning turns into music, your sighs into soft praise. You are not broken beyond repair. The Spirit of God is restoring you from within, renewing what sorrow tried to steal. His joy is not fragile, it is your inheritance. And as you close your eyes, let gratitude take the place of grief. The oil of joy has already been poured out. You are seen, healed, and loved. The night will pass, and morning will find you shining again. Chapter 23. The anchor of hope. When life feels uncertain, hope becomes more than a feeling. It becomes an anchor. It holds you steady when everything else shifts. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. Hebrews 6:19. Hope does not deny the storm. It keeps you from drifting in it. You may not always feel strong enough to believe, but hope doesn't rely on emotion. It rests on promise. God's word is not moved by the wind. What he said still stands, even when your heart trembles. The anchor doesn't remove the waves, it reminds you that the bottom still holds. Imagine yourself in a small boat on restless water. The night is dark, the wind cold. Yet beneath you, the anchor holds fast to something unseen. That unseen strength is God's faithfulness, unchanging, unbreakable, and always near. Hope is not wishful thinking, it is confident trust. Abraham hoped against hope and saw the impossible fulfilled. Romans 4:18. His story is proof that faith can live in the silence, that waiting can still be holy. When you anchor your heart in God's word, fear loses its grip. The mind calms, the spirit steadies. You begin to remember that storms don't last forever. They pass, and peace follows. Even in delay, you are not drifting. You are held. Close your eyes and whisper this truth to your soul. God is not late. His timing is never wrong. Every unanswered prayer is tethered to his perfect plan. You are not forgotten. You are anchored in grace. Hope has a quiet sound. It hums softly beneath despair, reminding you that light is coming. It is the heartbeat of faith, the pulse of heaven's promise within your chest. As you rest tonight, feel that anchor settle deep within. Let the waves move as they will. The one who holds you never lets go. You are safe in the storm because your hope is in him. Chapter 24. The strength in weakness. There are moments when you reach the end of yourself, when strength slips through your fingers and all that's left is surrender. But God meets you there. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. What feels like breaking is often the beginning of being rebuilt. The world teaches that weakness is failure, but heaven calls it invitation. When you stop pretending to be strong, God's strength finally has space to move. His grace fills the cracks that effort cannot seal, turning emptiness into encounter. Paul understood this when he said, "Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me." 2 Corinthians 12:9. He learned that the lowest places are often the holiest ones. Dependence is not defeat, it is devotion. Imagine your heart as a vessel with fractures along its surface. Light shines through those broken places, not despite them, but because of them. That is how God's glory works. It enters through surrender. You don't need to fix what you can't control. You only need to yield. Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet decision to keep trusting. Even the smallest act of faith is mighty in the eyes of God. When you grow weary, remember that grace doesn't run out, it rises. Like water filling a dry well, it meets you exactly where you are. Weakness becomes the altar, where His power is revealed. Close your eyes and feel His strength settling over you like soft armor. You are not failing, you are being fortified. Every breath you take in faith is a victory unseen by the world, but celebrated in heaven. As you drift toward rest, let this truth comfort you. Your weakness is not your end. It is His beginning. Where you fall short, grace stands tall, and the love of Christ completes what your strength could not. Chapter 25. The Gardener of the Soul. There are seasons when life feels like pruning, when God seems to cut away what you thought you needed. It's not cruelty, it's care. Every branch that bears fruit He prunes, that it may bear more fruit. John 15:2. The gardener knows what must be removed for you to grow stronger. At first, pruning feels like loss. The branches that once bloomed are now bare, and you wonder if beauty will ever return. But hidden beneath the quiet soil, roots deepen. Growth begins in secret, long before it appears in sight. Imagine the gardener moving through his vineyard at dawn. His hands are gentle, his eyes filled with purpose. He trims not to harm, but to heal. Each cut is guided by love, each removal preparing the plant for greater life. Jesus often spoke of fruit that lasts, the kind that grows from abiding in Him. John 15:5. You are that branch, and though this season may feel empty, the vine is still alive beneath you. What He takes away, He replaces with abundance. The soul, like a garden, needs both sunlight and storm. The rain that feels harsh today will feed your roots tomorrow. Nothing is wasted when the gardener tends the soil. His timing is exact, His touch intentional. Let your heart rest in His hands. You don't need to understand every pruning to trust His purpose. The gardener never abandons what He plants. He watches, waters, and waits until new life appears. Close your eyes and imagine green shoots pushing through the soil again. The pain begins to fade into peace. What once looked like the end was only the beginning of renewal. As you rest tonight, know this: your garden is still in His care. Every root is known, every leaf counted. In His patience, you are being prepared to bloom again. Chapter 26. Living water. There are thirsts no drink can satisfy, a longing that reaches deeper than the body. It is the thirst of the Spirit, searching for meaning, for peace, for God. Jesus said, "Whoever drinks of the water I shall give him will never thirst. It will become in him a spring of water welling up to eternal life." John 4:14. The Samaritan woman came to the well alone. weary and ashamed. But she left with joy overflowing. One encounter with Jesus turned her emptiness into testimony. The living water she found is the same that flows toward you now. You have sought refreshment in many places, success, love, approval, and yet the thirst always returns. But the water of Christ is different. It doesn't just quench, it transforms. It fills the hollow spaces and brings rest where striving once lived. Imagine sitting beside that well, the sun warm on your face, the air still. Jesus looks at you and says, "If you only knew the gift of God," John 4:10. The gift is himself, present, pure, unending. Living water never runs dry because its source is eternal. Even when your faith feels faint, the spring inside you keeps flowing. It is the Spirit, quietly refreshing your soul when you have nothing left to give. Let his presence wash over you now. Every regret, every burden, every fear is cleansed in that flow. You are not a desert. You are a well loved by heaven. The more you draw near, the deeper the spring becomes. Breathe slowly and feel that cool stream within you, steady and alive. You don't have to earn it or deserve it. You only have to receive. His water is free, and it is yours. As you drift into rest, hear the gentle sound of that eternal stream. It whispers the same truth to every thirsty heart. Come and drink. The well of grace never closes, and you are always welcome there. Chapter 27. The Watchful Shepherd. There is comfort in knowing that someone never sleeps. When your thoughts won't quiet and the night feels long, remember the words of Psalm 121. He who watches over you will not slumber. The shepherd who guards your soul stays awake so that you can rest. You are never truly alone. Even in the silence, his presence surrounds you. The same shepherd who led David through green pastures walks beside you tonight. His rod defends, his staff guides, his eyes never close. Imagine the stillness of a moonlit field. The flock sleeps safely while the shepherd keeps watch from a nearby hill. The wolves may wander, but they never prevail. That is how the Lord guards your life, vigilant, faithful, unshaken. He is not watching from afar. His care is intimate. He knows when your heart races, when your breath catches, when tears come uninvited. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your coming and going both now and forevermore. Psalm 121, 7-8. Let that truth sink into your spirit. You are covered not by circumstance but by covenant. His watchfulness is not anxious, it is loving. It is the gaze of one who delights in you, who refuses to let darkness have the final word. When you wake in the middle of the night, remember that your shepherd is already awake. The same voice that calmed the storm still whispers peace over your thoughts. The night is not empty, it is sacred, guarded by grace. Rest in his vigilance. Let every worry dissolve in the knowledge that he is near. The God who counts the stars also counts every heartbeat you have. His care is complete. As your eyes grow heavy, release your fears to him. You are safe beneath his watch, covered in his peace. The shepherd is near, and he will not leave you. Chapter 28. The God who heals the brokenhearted. Some wounds are invisible, hidden beneath smiles and silence, yet God sees every fracture, every sorrow too deep for words. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3. There is no pain beyond his reach, no scar too old for his touch. You may have tried to forget, to bury what hurts, but healing begins where hiding ends. When you bring your pain into his light, grace begins its quiet work. The same hands that formed the stars are gentle enough to hold your tears. Think of Jesus standing beside the tomb of Lazarus. He knew resurrection was coming, yet he still wept. John 11:35. His tears were not weakness. They were love made visible. He feels what you feel and weeps with you before he restores you. Healing rarely comes all at once. It arrives like dawn, slow, soft, certain. Each ray of light touches what once felt lost. The night doesn't vanish instantly, but the morning always comes. Let his presence be your medicine tonight. Don't rush the mending. The heart heals in the rhythm of heaven, steady, patient, full of grace. His spirit breathes peace where bitterness once lived. There is power in brokenness surrendered. What once caused shame can become testimony. My strength is made perfect in weakness, he reminds you. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Every scar becomes a story of survival written by divine hands. Close your eyes and feel his comfort surrounding you. The ache may still exist, but it no longer defines you. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being shaped into something whole. As you rest, let this truth settle deep in your heart. The one who heals also stays. He does not fix and leave. He restores and remains. You are safe in his care, healed in his love. Chapter 29. The Promise of Tomorrow. Worry often lives in the space between now and what's next. The mind runs ahead, painting pictures of what might go wrong, while the heart forgets that God already stands in tomorrow. Jesus said, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself." Matthew 6:34. His words call us back to peace in the present. You are not meant to live inside future fears. Grace is always given one day at a time. The manna that fed Israel fell daily, not weekly, reminding them to trust in rhythm, not reserve. The same truth applies to your life. Today holds enough mercy for itself. Imagine God's hand stretching ahead of you, preparing the path you cannot see. The turns that scare you, the unknown that waits. He has already walked it. Before they call, I will answer. While they are still speaking, I will hear. Isaiah 65:24. His preparation is hidden, but sure. Tomorrow does not need your anxiety. It only needs your faith. Worry drains strength, but trust restores it. When you release what hasn't happened, you make room for peace to fill what is happening now. Close your eyes and breathe in the calm of this moment. Feel how God's presence anchors you here, where his voice can be heard. The future will come, but when it does, it will bring new grace with it. Hope is the language of tomorrow, and God is fluent in it. He writes the story not from fear, but from love. Even when detours appear, they are part of a larger plan meant to bring you closer to him. Let the promise of Jeremiah 29:11 rest over your heart. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you hope and a future. Hope is not a distant dream. It is a seed already planted in today's soil. As you fall asleep, release the weight of what's ahead. You are not walking into chaos, but into care. Tomorrow belongs to the one who holds eternity, and he holds you too. Chapter 30. The Eternal Love. Love is the heartbeat of God, unchanging, unending, unconditional. I have loved you with an everlasting love, he says in Jeremiah 31:3. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. Nothing you do can make him love you more, and nothing you've done can make him love you less. His love simply is. Human love can falter, fade, or fail, but divine love remains. It does not depend on your worthiness. It depends on his nature. His affection is not earned through perfection. It's poured out through grace. You are loved not because you have done well, but because he has chosen you. Imagine standing beneath an endless sky, the stars shimmering like promises too many to count. That is how wide his love stretches. Neither height nor depth nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God. Romans 8:39. His love reaches where fear cannot. There are days when you may feel distant from him, when your prayers feel small against the universe. But love bridges that distance. His presence wraps around you, even when you don't feel it. Faith is often the quiet knowing that love remains. God's love is not only eternal in length, it is eternal in depth. It meets you where you are and lifts you toward where you're meant to be. It doesn't just cover wounds, it transforms them into reminders of mercy. Let this love be the ground beneath your heart tonight. When everything else feels uncertain, let this truth hold firm. You are beloved. Even the stars will fade, but his affection will remain. Breathe in that peace. Let it quiet every restless thought. Love is not an idea. It's a presence, alive and surrounding you now. As you rest, imagine his love like a gentle light wrapping around your soul. It does not end with the night. It will meet you in the morning, just as strong, just as sure, just as eternal. Chapter 31. The Morning of Joy. Some nights feel endless, stretching like shadows that refuse to lift. Yet even in the darkest hour, dawn is already being prepared. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 35. God's timing is not delayed, it is deliberate. Joy never forgets where you are. There are seasons when sorrow feels permanent, but pain is not forever. Just as the earth turns toward the sun, the heart turns toward hope. The first light of morning does not erase the night, it redeems it. Every tear becomes part of the sunrise. Imagine standing at the edge of dawn, the sky still grey but trembling with colour. The air is cool, filled with promise. That moment is the whisper of grace, the reminder that endings are only beginnings dressed in shadows. When David wrote those words, he had known both caves and crowns. He learned that joy is not the absence of struggle, but the assurance that struggle cannot last. God's mercy rewrites even the hardest stories with morning light. Let hope rise within you like the sun over quiet hills. The pain that once defined you becomes distant, softened by perspective. Joy does not arrive with noise, it enters with peace. The same God who watched over your sleepless nights now paints your morning in color. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies are new every morning. Lamentations 3:22-23. His compassion resets the world with every dawn. Breathe deeply and feel that renewal settle into your spirit. The weight begins to lift, the heart begins to sing again. Light does not need to fight the dark. It simply appears and darkness flees. As you rest tonight, remember, joy is already on its way. The sun will rise and so will you. The night cannot hold what God has promised to renew. Chapter 32. Safe in his arms. There is no safer place than the arms of God. When everything else fades, his embrace remains. He tends his flock like a shepherd. He gathers the lambs in his arms and carries them close to his heart. Isaiah 40:11. You are one of those lambs, known by name, held without condition. The world may tell you to stand strong, but God invites you to rest. You do not have to hold yourself together when his hands already do. His love is not a shelter you visit, it's a home that follows you. Jesus said, "No one will snatch them out of my hand." John 10:28. That promise is unbreakable. It means that no mistake, no fear, no darkness can remove you from his care. The grip that holds you is eternal. Imagine yourself leaning against his chest, the rhythm of his heartbeat steady and calm. The worries that once echoed inside you begin to fade. You realize that being held is not weakness, it is worship. Every storm that once frightened you now feels smaller in his arms. He does not promise an easy path, but he promises presence. When you are carried, you no longer measure distance. You trust direction. Let your soul exhale. You are not lost. You are loved into stillness. His arms do not close to keep you in. They open to draw you near. Rest is not found in escape, but in embrace. Even as you drift toward sleep, he does not loosen his hold. The eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. Deuteronomy 33:27. Those arms do not grow weary. They carry you through every night. As the day fades and silence deepens, let yourself sink into that safety. You are not alone in the dark. You are surrounded by love. In his arms, fear ends, peace begins, and you are finally home. The night grows quiet now, and the world softens beneath the weight of stillness. In this sacred calm, let your heart remember the shepherd's promise. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Psalm 23, 1-3. You are safe within his care. His peace surrounds you like gentle light, steady and near, holding every weary thought until it rests. As you breathe, let your mind settle into trust. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Isaiah 26:3. The world may shift, but his love does not. Every moment of fear can be released into his hands, for he never lets go. Peace is not far from you. It is already within you, born from his presence, alive in his promise. Now, as the night deepens and silence becomes a hymn, hear the voice of Jesus still calling softly, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11:28. The journey has led you here, to stillness, to comfort, to home. Sleep beneath his mercy, breathe beneath his grace. May the peace of Christ guard your heart as you sleep.